I want to welcome Ms. Finati. Ms. Finati is a finance and economics master graduate from the University of Shanghai with the former knowledge of law studies acquired in both of her bachelor degrees. She's a business relationship officer at CoinShare and an expert in blockchain. Welcome, Ms. Finati.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the invitation here.
Thank you for being with us. Can you please tell us a bit about CoinShare and your role in the company as the BRO, Business Relationship Officer, please?
Yes, of course. So, CoinShare is a blockchain platform which releases cashback every time someone buys something into the platform. But the new thing that we are applying is actually the blockchain technology inside the transactions that we allow people to do through our utility token. So, since it's a utility token, it's for the usage of the platform itself. So essentially, every time you purchase something, you get a cash back in voucher, which is like essentially those points you can get whenever you're purchasing from a supermarket, and then change the points you're getting in cash back from your purchases into a utility token that we have on our platform, and then buy freely with this digital currency that we're having different products. And of course, every single transaction is registered in blockchain. So this is like the new thing. And more specifically, what I do is building the procedures, of course, when it comes to clients, when it comes to customers, I try to ease the processes that they have to go through because like it's a new technology and people are not really accustomed with new technologies or new things in general. So you need to guide them through. So one of my duties is actually to smooth the process of entering a new platform and a new ecosystem, a digital one, of course, and also all the relationships and the communications with investors, the different partners on a high level, which means like the big picture partners and the people, for instance, providing us with technology or providing us with different services, and of course to guide them through what we offer to everyone from a B2C to a B2B phase. So this is what I do.
Very interesting. And talking about this innovative approach of the company, I'd like to ask, Jeff Bezos said in one of his interviews, you have to always be leaning towards the future, right? And does this connect with CoinShare's vision and mission as you see it?
Yeah, I think it's really connected, honestly, because we are building an ecosystem, a digital one. And the model we are pursuing and applying actually is the one of Virgin. So having like different industries, but that will all apply and use our utility token. So essentially, you will be able to access different services from energy to, so for instance, like your energy bill can actually be paid half in our utility token, energy, and then coaching, and then we're going to be having also cards, crypto cards you can use with our utility token, and then a marketplace where you can purchase things that you need every day. But also we're moving on to rentals with cars and trading. So what we are building is a real ecosystem because we are moving, as Jeff Bezos said, towards the future, like leaning towards the future, and try to build something that is going to last for a long time and is not going to, be just like circled and enclosed in one little businesses. We are diversifying every day, essentially.
That's very, very interesting. And
It's like a non-stop thing. Trust me. Every day there is something new, and you need to adapt and just say like, okay, let's go, let's go with it and do it.
And also talking about this, since you're working in China, there's this revolutionary digital currency event that is happening there, the DCEP.
Yeah.
But DCEP is a bit different from cryptocurrencies, right? From what I understood from the little research I did, it doesn't really use blockchain technology, or it's not a must to use blockchain technology, and it is institutional, so it's issued by the central bank. Does this
Yeah, it's
change a bit?
controversial.
Yes. Does this change a bit the way CoinShare is building a strategy going forward since the euro, since the ECB declared earlier that earlier this year that it's going to be doing the same essentially?
Well, not really. It doesn't play a role with CoinShare because we're using our utility tokens. So it's not any, there is no sort of speculation on this, as utility tokens are mainly for the platform you're using them on. But it will change for the people and maybe on a customer level, yes, because this is what it happened in China. With DCEP, well, of course, they want to control, let's say, the black part of the market they cannot control, which means like transactions that are not transparent. They want to control that. They want to control people who are not paying taxes. They want to fight the corruption. This is why they apply the digital currency. And the focus of Chinese people is to check and control the data, not always in a bad way as you know, like Europeans or American people try to picture it. Because really, I gave up my data for Chinese government for the past 4 years, but everything was working so well that it was worth it. Like you give up some freedom to actually have something back from the government, and you can trust a government. But DCEP is something different. Is more a burning mechanism of the cash that they are having, and they have to check because there are many not very transparent areas in China. And then for Europe, what they want to do is, I believe they want to apply blockchain in the digital euro, but they want to create a state blockchain. So essentially a blockchain that belongs to the European Union. And so it can be checked and controlled by a central authority, which, yes, it will go against the principle of a decentralized ledger, which is what blockchain wanted to be, also for everyone to be accessible and not being in control. So I think this will change more the perspective that people are having, because they will move from having paper currency to be just seeing how much they have in digital euro on their phones. But it's going to be a transition, and I know it's not going to be a CoinShare is not going to be impacted by this. Maybe it will be eased, honestly, because then people will be more likely to accept a digital currency instead of saying like, I cannot touch it, I cannot see it. Whereas everyone knows that the only real money that you could touch and really perceive the value was the metal coins back in like after the barter was introduced, that there were the metal coins, but they were real gold and silver and any kind of metal you could think of, but they were preferring to real value. Afterwards, the paper money was referring just to your metal coins that you were having and stored in a place. So I think that it's more a mentality, and they're not realizing that by exchanging paper, they are just exchanging paper. They're not exchanging any value. There is no gold behind euro, so there is no suretyship that money holds a value. So I think it's just a mentality change for them.
Like, so it's similar to what Matthew McConaughey says in this Wolf of Wall Street movie. It's all like fugazi, he says. But it's really this, and maybe people don't realize it. So with the digital currency, you see the confidence of people in digital currency and cryptocurrencies increasing.
Yeah, I see that. And Honestly, yeah, we're moving as like quoting the Wolf of Wall Street, we're moving money that is not existing, honestly. Like paraphrasing, let's paraphrase this, but yeah, we're moving money that is not existing. We are giving value to a piece of paper that is just a piece of paper with 20 or 50 written on it, but still a piece of paper, not referring to any reserve of gold. So there are no gold standards behind that. Not many people
Well,
know that.
that's true. Well, I can go talking with you about this a lot because it's very interesting. But I wanted to go a bit more to the personal questions here.
Okay.
No, first of all, for the enthusiasts among us, for the cryptocurrency enthusiasts, what is your opinion on cryptocurrency trading? Because this is obviously there's a huge buzz around this in recent years. Do you have any certain
Yeah.
perspective on this that you can share with us?
Well, I was working in exchange and was doing mostly trading, financial trading, but with cryptos. And I was really, I would say, welcome to try trading, which means like I was forced to do trading every single day. And what I can say is that I tried different products, and if you cannot do it, if you don't have time to study, and to know what moves you should make, never try crypto trading. You need to really apply yourself. You need to study. You need to know that futures can be dangerous for a crypto because the market is really fast. So it's easier, like paradoxically, it's easier to trade on a high frequency trading with crypto compared to a future because well at least from my perspective because a high frequency trading in a minute like in minutes for instance you can control when you're buying when you're selling you can put a stop loss and a take profit which are the two tools that you need in order not to lose everything you have but it's easier to do that on that matter but for doing like real trading, which is futures, options, or any kind of like even American options. But you need to study, you need to apply, you need to stay there, you need to see the moves the markets make because it's very fast. It's not like commodities. It's not that you put like you basically put like €1,000 on a future and then you wait months or I don't know 30
Yeah, it's
days. You
very
have to be
volatile.
fast. It's very volatile. Yeah, the volatility is the key also to make money. So the spread increases. This is why I'm saying that for a beginner, it's better to start with something like high frequency where they can actually see the volatility and the increase of the spread and they can see they are making money with the spread that is generated by, like from buying and selling, rather than putting themselves directly into like real financial products. So, like futures. So, I would say do it, but study. Never trust people that are saying it's so easy, just do it. You either go for bots, so you do like some sort of, um, arbitrage, for instance, you can do it. And then you have zero risk. But of course, you need to find the right people to trust with that. So I would say for the crypto enthusiasts who really want to try trading, study first. Don't trade blindly.
That's a very welcome answer, and I support that with the little knowledge I have, of course. And okay, so what really attracted you to the world of finance and blockchain, especially after you studied law? And I understand that you studied also European law in the University of Maastricht at the beginning. So,
Yeah.
what happened, may I ask?
What happened? I was Like, why did you actually pick blockchain and crypto? Well, yeah. Okay, that's a funny story because I started with European law, yes, and I graduated from University of Maastricht. But when I had to pick my LLM, because every time you do an LLB in law, you have to pick an LLM to complete your I mean, like steps, legal steps, I would say. I never wanted to be a lawyer. It was more a forma mentis for me in order to follow several steps in my life. I was like, yeah, I want to study law, so it gives me structure. Um, well, then I went to China because they sent me in China because they told me in Maastricht that my CV was too Western. So I had to have something Asian inside. So I went to China, fell in love with the place. Then I decided to go to one of the best financial universities in China, which is SUPE, Shanghai University of Finance and Economics. And there was this course, financial law. I picked that. And I remember that I was taking this exam of financial law and studying blockchain. So it was back in 2017. No, 2017. I was like 2016, not counting, but 2017. And I was like, why is this so problematic for law? You know, like you imagine law, you imagine like these institutions, like this huge like structure of legal terms and legal norms and so on and so forth. And then you're like, why is blockchain disrupting this this system? So I started studying it. I took the exam, I took the paper actually in blockchain. And then I realized that blockchain was what in financial law you can compare to a triangle, not to pay taxes. You know, like you have like the financial triangles, like triangles of Bermuda, not to pay taxes essentially. But and that's a problem, you know, for financial law. It's a real problem. And so blockchain was constituting the exact same things that these fiscal paradise were constituting for financial, like for financial parts, financial institutions. So it was like, if this is so disruptive, if I connect like what blockchain and crypto will be, and I compare them to what fiscal paradise became during the years, during the days, then maybe blockchain and crypto will actually really have a future. You know, it's not just like a hype. It's not just something that will burn and then leave a mess. It will be like a real thing that people will start using and implementing, like people do with fiscal paradise, because they're not illegal. They are perfectly legal, and they of course not those speculations they're doing on fiscal
No, but
paradise as
basically,
well. But
yes. Basically, yes, they're legal.
well, they are actually, even in law, like private international law, for instance, you can sign a contract and pick like a different forum from the jurisdiction. So if you pick like Germany as a forum and then the jurisdiction of Taiwan, then of course the forum of Germany will say, I have no idea. Like, I don't know anything about the jurisdiction of Taiwan. So then they will send the case back to Taiwan, and then you will have your case with the forum and the jurisdiction in Taiwan. This is legal, this is law. So this is exactly something that can help companies. And blockchain can help companies and people, but in a better way, in a good way. So then there will not be any kind of mistakes that are purposely made by companies or governments. And then crypto, of course, because they're just interesting the way people give a value to digital. It's a transformation and it's the future. I think it can be compared to people giving value to a credit card. It's a piece of plastic. It's nothing else. It's a piece of plastic that refers to a bank account that tells you how much money you have that is not in the bank account because the bank already reinvested it. But we give them so much value. So we did the same thing with crypto. So that's why I think back then I thought, wow, this is disruptive. I'm going to follow this lead. And then when I had to start working, I found a job in an exchange platform. So that was it. That was basically my.
That's really interesting. Now I get the connection and how actually law does have a part in what you still choose to do,
Yeah,
which
it
is
does
also
have a
nice.
part, especially financial. Financial law, trust me, it gives you, it tells you so many things, like that I was not even, I wasn't even aware of. I remember one time my professor, he was working also for Chinese government, the financial part of the government. And he told us about this story about like islands in Japan that were not having any jurisdictions. So then I look at it and I was like, so if I actually refer my fiscal part to those islands, I pay no taxes. And he was like, yeah, yeah. And it's like, yeah, I was just like wondering. And he said, like, so you arrived to this connection. Like after the whole speech, I was like, but wait, so if there is no one, then I pay no taxes. And then they were like, yeah, well, we're trying to put some laws about that, but yeah, this is the point, actually. So,
Yeah. Oh, it's actually a really cool story of how things worked out. I didn't imagine it being this interesting.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. And so after all this, what does success look like to, and what do you aspire to essentially?
Well, for myself, I would say that success for me looks like a constant improvement. Because if you feel the moment you feel in your comfort zone, the moment you feel that you arrived, you're done, you're over, and this is not a success for me. For me, like success is really constantly improving, learning something from people mostly, because I think that people can teach you much more than books can, and from experience, like the experience really make you grow. And then I realized that when I went to China, I was 20 years old, and I was there like by myself alone, and so far from my parents and my family, and Europe in general. So experience really makes you grow, and people. So success is actually a constant pursuit of knowledge for me. And this is also like you can compare it to dream and goals. You have a dream, for instance. I'm not sure which one is it, but if you have that dream and you really look into it, you can notice that this dream gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you never reach your dream. You can achieve the goals you set yourself. You can achieve every single little piece of goal that you actually put inside this blockchain of your mind, okay? But you will never get to your dream because the dream will keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is exactly what success looks like to me. Success is not something you achieve and you feel I'm done. It's a pursuit of knowledge, and you will always like be able to grow and to feel happy if you keep on having something to learn.
That's very inspiring, and I'm gonna say again, interesting
Thank you.
because it really is, and it's wonderful how you answered this question.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. It's actually what I think. So I haven't prepared for that. I was like, oh, it's actually this.
Pretty good. And for the last question of the interview, so obviously people that are going to watch this interview are going to be students. Also, me, I'm learning a lot from this interview. And I
Oh,
also,
really?
yes, and I would also want to know, the students aspiring to work in the finance industry as myself, and approaching this modern business world that you described, with blockchain, a lot of fintech into the system. What would you advise? What advice? Sorry, what advice would you wish to share with them?
Well, First of all, I would share the information that I'm not that old or older than you guys because I'm 25, so I wanted to share it like this first. But especially, don't be afraid because I noticed that people, like generations we are from, sometimes they're really afraid of the future. And of course, they saw like many institutions collapsing before them, like even like Lehman Brothers, come on, it was a real institution. And but don't be afraid. Take risks for real. Like don't be afraid of leaving your parents' house. Don't be afraid of starting working in a startup because it's not the company that your parents were working in or family and friends were working in. Don't be afraid. Don't let people to put you down because this is what people do with the youngest, you know? They try to suffocate their dreams because they have more experience and because they saw people doing the exact same with them when they were younger. So if you need to take a step, if you need to take a risk, then do it. Like you maybe you will be a failure, but who cares? At least you tried. And it's better to live with things you've done than living with the regret of not ever having done them. So yeah, try and don't be afraid.
Thank you. This actually connects a lot with what Mr. Costantino told me in the previous interview. He's also
Oh,
from the
okay.
fintech world, and he also emphasizes this risk-on attitude that you need to take in order to make it, I guess, or get to where you want.
Yeah, it's more changing like the mentality from like working in, for instance, in finance, traditional finance. I cannot say any name, but the traditional financial companies, you go there, you work as a consultant. After 3, 4, 5 years, then you're a senior. You're not a junior anymore. And then you can become partner. And then what have you done with your life? You have achieved career-wise titles, but personally, what have you achieved? You have achieved like a comfy and cushy lifestyle, which is great if this is what you want. But if you want to work in what the future will be, you have to really engage yourself and be thirsty of something more than what the world can give you right now.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Finat again.